Hi guys, Whitney from Knapsack here. Today I want to walk you through alt text. And alt text is basically just an image description that we provide on the back end. So, we actually provide it for three reasons. First, it's a Google best practice. So by meeting their best practices, we have a better chance of ranking higher for relevant searches. And then also it's for accessibility. So if someone is using a screen reader to understand your site, it helps them understand it a little better, makes it more enjoyable. And then third, also by providing alt text, you can actually have images rank and be associated with your name. So if you search for us and then come, to images, you can see a bunch of different images we have, a bunch of websites that we've built. And so different things that have been pulled from our site, some of our blogs. So those are some of the benefits of providing alt text. Now, when I'm providing alt text, I kind of have two rules with them. If it's a stock image, then I just give it a really general description of what's happening and kind of how it relates to the context of the text around it. However, if it is a image that you provided that you've had taken that has your product in it, or your office or your team members or anything like that, if it's very much yours, owned by you, original to you, then we want to try and work in keywords like your company name or your product name, so that when people search for those things, these images have the potential to show up. So to get started, what you'll do is you'll just double click to go into edit mode. And then I like to just double click on the image until this pops up. You can come up here and there will be like a little pencil that you can click on, but it sometimes interferes with the header and you get the wrong thing. So I found that just double clicking on the image again once you're in edit mode is really helpful. So what you want to do is, normally you'll actually see a caption box right down here, and that's where you'll place your image description. So come down here and you can see this is a stock image that we created, to be very relevant to what .drives offers. So we just describe it and kind of what's happening, but we don't go into too much detail about, some of the keywords for .drives or their name or anything. So for this one, we have an abstract illustration of team members moving donors through a donor pipeline. And then once we're done, once we've written our description, we'll just click off, and now it becomes alt text. It's hidden, no one will see it on the site, but it is on the back end for Google and for screen readers. I would also recommend putting in a nice description here. So get rid of that. But just basically naming the image is always good. If for some reason an image doesn't have an area where you can put alt text, then the name of the image will be pulled in place of that. So it is good to kind of provide a little information there. Okay, so this is called an inline image, and they are my favorite because they're so easy. You just put the information in the caption area. This is very similar. Just caption below an illustration of .drive's donor pipeline on a laptop. Turn that off. Now these, once again, these are icons. They're just stock we pulled from the internet. Well, from like Adobe stock or something. But we're just going to provide a pretty vague description for these. So for this one, you can see this is a computer icon. So just very simple. And then we'll just turn that off, and it's become alt text. Now, let's see. There are some other types of image blocks I want to go over. So here, this is actually a gallery, and this is really important. So you'll see, if you read it, you see trusted by incredible organizations. Now, if someone's using a screen reader, they're going to hear trusted by incredible organizations, image, or the image name, which generally those aren't that friendly either. So we really do want to provide alt text here, so both Google and people who are using a screen reader actually know, who trusts you and who uses you, or who partners with you. A lot of times we'll use logos like this for partnerships. So you're just going to double click once again on the gallery. You'll click roll over the image and click on this cog. And then you're just going to put the name of the company right here in the title area. So here we have CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates for Children. And then we actually even link to it. It is great to link to reputable sites. Linking is a lot like networking. So it's like someone recommending you. And if you recommend other reputable sites, it also helps build your credibility. But we'll get into that in another video. So here we'll click on the cog again, and we have Habitat for Humanity. Very clean, short, succinct, just the name of the company is perfect. Okay, so that's how you do the galleries. Here, this is just once again an inline image, so you know how to do those. Let's see, I think most of these are inline. So let's jump over to Pathways for Children, because this is an awesome site that we recently got to build, and they have a lot of tricky images, so this will be great. So once again, I'm going to double click to come into edit mode, and then double click on the image, and this is a gallery. So we'll come in here, click on this cog, and then put in just a short description here. So let's see, this one has, and sometimes I'll even copy and paste it here so I can just read the whole thing first and then move it up. So a young smiling girl in Pathways for Children's Head Start program, or a young girl smiling. Let's move that one. Something like that. I'm just going to leave it for now. But yeah, you can see it's just very vague, kind of talks about what's happening. You know, she's happy, which is great. So that's just an example. Okay, so let's come down and find some more fun, tricky ones. This is an inline image, so once again, you'll just put the text in the caption. Same for these. So this is actually a gallery, which is really cool, and this is new to 7.1. So you can come into Edit Content, and then you'll click on Content, and you can see each of the images here. So then we're going to click on this arrow. And it actually has image alt text right here. So you just provide some alt text. This is actually a stock photo. So instead of incorporating their company name, we just talk about what's happening. So a smiling boy with colorful chalk all over his hands. So just something fun, letting people know what is happening in the picture. Okay. So here, this is actually an event. For both blogs and events, you can use summary blocks to pull in your blogs and events from those pages, and they will use these thumbnails. You don't have to provide alt text for these thumbnails. Squarespace will actually pull the name of the blog as the alt text, so you don't need to worry about that. However, in a blog, you will want to provide alt text for your images in the blog. Okay, so once again, thank you to our lead partners. You want to make sure that you label these with the names of the partners. Follow us on Instagram. These are pulled from Instagram, so we don't do anything there. Let me see. Maybe there's someone here. For Nefesh Pilates, this one was really important because, I mean, all of their photos were professional photos from their studio, which is gorgeous. And so we really wanted to make it very clear that that is what people were seeing. So these are, once again, these are just icons. So we just provided vague information there. But for this one, this is an image block, so one of the trickier ones. You'll come into edit, and then you'll notice that there's no caption area here and nothing shows up down here. And so what you're going to do is come into design, and you want to note which type of image block this is. So this one is an overlap. Once again, please note this because it can be hard to figure it out if you have to go back. But to provide alt text, you're going to change it from an overlap to inline, just like all the others. And then we will put in a description here. So here we have Alicia Grow, who is the owner, which it says, owner of Nefesh Pilates, is helping a new member learn new moves safely. So just a quick description about what is happening there. So we've got our description in there. We're going to come back to overlap, and now that has become alt text for the image here. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. Okay, these are inline images. Oh, these are great. Okay, let's see. Health Grizzly is a fun one. This one uses lots of image blocks, kind of like the one I just showed you. So here's another example. Come into edit, and this is on 7, so it's a little different on 7.1. But what you'll do is come into design. You're going to note this is a card, and then we're going to switch it to inline. And then here you can say a meeting with a Health Grizzly professional health guide on a tablet. We'll switch it back to card, and now that has become alt text. So there you go. That is alt text for images. When you're writing alt text, it's really good to keep in mind that people who are using a screen reader will be listening to it. So definitely try and make it flow, very friendly, complete sentences, unless it's something, like an icon. This can be very short and brief. But definitely think of your audience, and then also think about, what's important. So sometimes location is important, especially if you're location-based. And then talking about your products or talking about your services, mentioning those in pictures that illustrate them is really important as well, especially when they are pictures that you've taken and you own. It's very important to do that. So that is alt text. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.